Today, Exodus will be announcing another one of its companions, and I am so excited to be able to help with this first reveal. But before we start this video, I want to say that Exodus actually contacted me and provided information about this character for this reveal. So this was a very exciting opportunity, and I'm so excited to share this new information with everyone first. So let's look at our brand new and second Exodus companion, Elise Charoux. Here's the official reveal of Elise.
Alright, let's go! Got one!
Additionally, here is a in-game render of Elise inside her suit, and also a concept piece of the outside and back of her suit. Elise is described as a blunt, no-nonsense sleeper from 23rd century Earth. She is an experienced mercenary, weapons expert, and former gang member. If Elise has your back, it means she's in front of you clearing a path. The character description describes Elise as a muscle you want by your side for any encounter across the cluster. And we've got this new gameplay of Elise. A tiny clip of this was shown in the first trailer, but here's the extended gameplay, and she absolutely looks like a tank. Her punches hit hard and her mech looks unstoppable. She absolutely obliterates the enemy in the pre-alpha gameplay that we see here, and we can also hear a bit of her voice lines as well. Aside from her awesome mech and unstoppable combat abilities, she is also described as having a biting, sarcastic sense of humor that disguises a deep-seated sense of loss. She still partially remembers Earth, and if she has a soft spot, it's her desire to find meaning in the fragmented memories she's retained of those final chaotic years before the ARC ships departed. When not working to improve the lives of her fellow sleepers, Elise usually hangs out at the cantina in Borderline. But bullshitting with her mercenary drinking buddies isn't just for fun. It's also a way for her to keep up on the latest weapons and combat tech. Elise brings incredible firepower to the battlefield in her customized mech armor. Her default tactic of choice is shock and awe, laying down waves of suppressive fire to draw attention, allowing her team to navigate into advantageous cover positions. Reveling in the chaos of battle, she typically hurls coarse taunts at her enemies, and she unloads dual miniguns and fires grenades from her shoulder-mounted launchers. When the situation calls for stealth, Elise remains behind and waits patiently for the signal, because once she enters the fray, subtlety goes out the window. It's hard to be subtle when your ultimate is a micro-barrage that lights up the entire battlefield like fireworks. Looking for that certain someone you can trust from one end of the galaxy to the other? The partner who will never let you down? Look no further, Elise is here. So this is the official character description for Elise. And this actually has quite a lot of information here, as far as revealing information about the game. Everything from here on is just my speculation, based on the official information I just covered. So this is my personal takeaway from what they're revealing. Elise's mech and abilities give some information into Exodus's combat, but it seems like characters will have ultimate abilities. Elise has a micro-barrage that lights up the entire battlefield like fireworks. As most games with ultimates, these are usually abilities that you build up in combat. And if Elise has one, I suspect all of the companions will have a similar ultimate ability. So it seems like the gameplay will be more tactical in its situational approaches, with taking cover when necessary and using stealth if you need to be sneaky. And we've seen this in the first reveal, which has some pre-alpha gameplay. We also see that she has miniguns and grenades, which are things we'll probably have access to as far as grenade-type weapons. The combat looks like it has real-time guns, launchers, grenades, stealth, cover, and the Celestial Technologies neural induction ability, which I wonder if that's the Traveler's ultimate. We also see grappling being used in the gameplay footage, sneaking and ground sliding, so it seems like there's quite a bit of versatility here. We don't know if the companions are controllable during combat, but I hope, similar to Mass Effect, we can tell them when to use their major abilities. All in all, the gameplay itself, which has most likely improved since these pre-alpha clips were taken, looks pretty engaging. Additionally, the clips show the traveler with two companions, one of them being Elise and one of them being what looks like a human. So I assume a full party in Exodus is 3 total characters, our traveler with 2 companions. This character in front of Elise has the armor from the traveler image with the unique arm. So I assume this is the traveler, and that all travelers might have this to showcase their neural induction ability. In this clip, we can also see some new armor, and I really like this traveler's armor. Though I'm not super sold on the helmet, which seems kind of bulky, I do really like the armor's body. We also get to see the traveler's weapon and a new location. And Elise sounds interesting, and if they can actually nail down the type of humor I am expecting, I think I'd absolutely love her. Characters that use sarcasm and humor to hide their deep, debilitating depression is my favorite trope. She sounds gritty and rough around the edges, and I really like that. She also has these interesting tattoos which remind me of the tattoos Tom Vargas has in the first trailer. So I wonder if these could be related to her use of her mech, since Tom's looked related to him opening his ship's pod. I really do like her tattoos though, and I like her face, and if her animations are good, I think she could be a great companion. Though I'm not super sure about her hair, as it's hard to see with the angle inside the mech, but overall I think she looks pretty interesting. Interestingly enough, Elise is also from Earth. It sounds like she remembers Earth and the chaos of the final years before the Arks departed. That means she has been asleep for roughly 42,000 years and woke up during the Aslan Dynasty era. But her description does say that she partially remembers Earth. So I wonder if her being asleep all those years did give her some kind of memory loss. It also sounds like her character's story could be related to loss that she maybe suffered from those days on the Ark. Maybe she was an Ark that lost people, as we know from the short stories that some of the Arks were struggling, and they were struggling to keep sleepers alive due to not being given proper resources to fix repairs or having the proper manpower needed to repair them. Some of the Arks had very, very bleak situations, and many people died on their journey leaving Earth. And we don't actually know why humanity had to flee Earth yet. We know that Earth became completely abandoned during the Exodus within 2 centuries, which is a very short time. So whatever happened to Earth seems like it happened very rapidly and meant evacuation as soon as possible. The concept art of her mech also reminds me of a human cityscape. So maybe this is actually her fighting on Earth before fleeing. Maybe she hangs out at the cantina to upgrade her mech because it was built on Earth. Who knows? Hopefully, Elise can provide some background information as to what actually happened on Earth during those final years, since our main character, June, has never been to Earth and was born on Lydon, far into the future after Earth's exodus. It'll be interesting having a companion being able to provide some insight into humanity's past, that June essentially didn't really have a part in. There's a ton of potential for some really dark, sad stories there. And it sounds like that is related to Elise. We also learn that she is a sleeper. From the same short stories, we know that there were people who slept throughout their entire journey, and that there were people who woke up and lived out full lives on the Arks to maintain them, knowing that they'd never make it off the Ark alive. So this also gives some interesting backstory into other types of people we might meet. Sleepers sound interesting. Imagine sleeping for over 40,000 years, and then waking up in an entirely different world, and then having to process all the changes that have happened while you were taking a very long nap. Elise sounds like she fights for other sleepers as well. And we know from the timeline that newer Arks that were just arriving to the cluster were treated poorly by the now dominant Celestials. And with Elise previously being in a gang, it sounds like she experienced this firsthand. I'd assume she was one of the Arks who were relegated to the backwater worlds by the Celestials. These planets probably didn't flourish and didn't have a lot of resources. Gangs existing and fighting for resources and livelihood sounds entirely plausible. So Elise sounds like she's going to have a dark past, all while laughing about it, so she doesn't cry from the pain. Additionally, we also learn of Borderline, which seems like some kind of city or hub. And Elise hangs out at the Borderline Cantina with her mercenary buddies. Sounds like they're slowly going to be introducing locations as well. I wonder if Borderline is in any of the concept art. And lastly, I think this clip has another one of the characters they'll be revealing in the coming months, which looks like it has the frame of a human woman, which would mean 2 human women as companions, and one character that looks to be non-human but still has a humanoid figure. And as I've said before, I do hope that the roster of companions is larger than only 4, especially if 3 are humans. But realistically, this is a game being developed by a smaller studio, so maybe 4 is all we're getting so far. I will say though that one of my major criticisms for Cyberpunk, and the reason I still haven't finished the game, is that as a female V, I couldn't romance Panam. There's a very small roster of characters you can romance, and they were pretty limited choice-wise. So if that's the case for Exodus, 4 companions alongside the Traveler, they will have to be extremely well written. If there's a smaller roster to choose from, especially when it comes to romance, those companions really need to shine. I don't know if Elise is romanceable, but I assume she would be, especially since I feel like Tom Vargas might not be romanceable, considering his storyline with Max, and the trailer that tells you his sad love story. But that's just pure speculation. He may have very well gotten over Max by the time the Traveler meets him and will be romanceable. And it's also important to remember that all of these clips are pre-alpha gameplay. So while there doesn't seem to be many facial animations or expressions, this isn't the final product. But so far, all the gameplay we've seen has been pretty interesting, and the locations and visuals are really beautiful. And as this game is being developed in Unreal Engine, I think the visuals seem really nice. And the in-game characters do look like the characters from the trailer. I think we're seeing a consistent style across the CGI trailers and the gameplay, as far as the character designs. And I have been mentioning that this game feels like it's much closer than we think, with a possible late 2024 or early 2025 release. If they're going to be releasing companions like this and doing their quarterly dev Q&As, then I do think a release relatively close could be possible, since it seems like they're in their marketing cycle. Especially since there are 3 total studios working to bring Exodus to life. So hopefully we get more reveals soon, and hopefully we find more about Exodus in the coming months. Maybe there will even be a more full reveal at the Summer Games Fest this summer. And if you've been watching my Exodus videos, thank you so much. It's not getting a ton of coverage right now because they haven't made a lot of public reveals, aside from their Game Awards trailer, but they have been releasing new information pretty steadily. So it's been really fun to cover these announcements, and I can't wait to learn more. And this was such a cool opportunity. I'm a small channel and I've only been doing this for a year. So when they contacted me, I was extremely excited and got to work on this video right away. So if you're watching this and you work on Exodus, thanks for letting me do this. I can't wait to meet Elise. So what do you think about everything? We're seeing new gameplay, a new companion, and a new clip of our Traveler, as well as some new enemies. What do you think of Elise, and what do you think about everything I've shown here? Let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching, and a special thank you to my channel members. I'll be doing a giveaway posted on my community tab next week, so be sure to check that out. Happy Valentine's Day, and see you next time.